Hi, just have one stitch left in the top that I'm going to do right now. Last one, in, through, up, and out. And now it's time to do exactly what we did before. We had, the yarn started out at the bottom of the mallet. We had to stitch the bottom, then run it through the mallet head up to the top, stitch around the top. Now we're going to run it back down through the mallet head. We're going to come out the bottom and we're going to cut it because we are almost done, happily. So take the needle, go through the hole in the top of the mallet, come out somewhere fairly far down the side of the mallet head. In these situations, it's nice not to have the needle pierce one of the outer strands of yarn. It's nice to have it come out in between strands of yarn, but that's a fairly minor point. Again, pulling the yarn fairly tight till you can see the little hole where the yarn comes out. You're going to put the needle back in through that hole and back farther down the side of the mallet head. Same thing again. I think it's going to take maybe a stitch more to get this to come out right. You'll know if you're trying to cover too much ground on these downward stitches if you start stabbing the mallet core with your needle, and that's not going to be a problem, but you can't stitch through the mallet core. You've got to stitch through the yarn. I'm going to do one more. I'm just going to kind of run it through to the other side of the mallet. And then with this last one, this last stitch, I'm going to go into the mallet head. I'm going to try to come out with the needle point between the bottom stitching and the mallet shaft itself. In there. Out. No, not quite. Missed it. Got it right there. So there you can see the needle is coming out right next to the shaft of the mallet. I'm going to pull it through, unthread the needle because we're almost done. All you have to do is cut what's left, and the way I like to do it is take the pair of scissors. I like to open it up and just use one of the blades. I like to take the yarn that's coming out, I like to put a little bit of tension on it, pull down on it, so that when you cut it, it kind of sucks the end back up inside the mallet head. Position one of the scissor blades just at the bottom of the stitching. Point is straightforward. You don't want to cut the stitching, you just want to cut the yarn there, and then just a little slide back and forth, the yarn comes off, and you have wrapped a marimba mallet. Now it's time to go over and play the saraband from the 5th suite and hope it sounds good. Great.